It's fully charged. It's fully charged.
It's fully charged. You gotta remember to hit all the recording buttons, or you have to do your videos all over again. What's up, guys? I'm Money Mike, and welcome to Rockstar News. Been a minute. Kind of got caught up with some, doing some other things last week, but back in the saddle. And today, I know over this pandemic, you've been hearing a ton of stuff about how the housing market is going to take a dive and how this is going to be like a huge issue, but new numbers are in, and you always have to have a skeptical eye when it comes to any information that's coming out and anybody who's promising that they know exactly what's going to happen, because no one does. Even if you're relying on information from 2008, this is a completely different scenario. In 2008, you had the financial markets headed up by the Federal Reserve, literally, just pumping the market full of like cheap credit.
Money, 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 must be funny in the rich man's world.
Which they're doing it right now. But the difference is that they had a lot of like corrupted, bad stuff on the back end of, the financial sector. A lot of that has been cleared up, and a lot of that moral hazard that these mortgage companies and lenders were doing before have kind of gone away, and now they're being super secure and super tight when it comes to their processes and their qualifications. So we're not seeing the same thing happen in this current situation. What we are seeing is in April, sales did drop by 21%, but a lot of economists think that's kind of like the bottom. We weren't going to get any worse than that in April. Now, what the good news is that since April, the amount of mortgages or mortgage applications that have been filled out or been applied for has jumped up by 54%. So buyers are running out of their houses looking for new places. And it's funny because I did a kind of like a survey on my social media. Has the pandemic changed your mind about your current situation where you live? About 85% of people said no, but the the numbers show that is not true. At least the theory is that like a lot of people were during the pandemic weren't moving or weren't buying, and there was the kind of people don't know this, but like February, March, May, around that time, that's kind of like the beginning of the selling season. We start to go into summertime, so that's when the lockdown was happening. So everybody was cooped up in their house, and now that that's over, people are kind of just rushing out the door and trying to get to the new place, and we're seeing all that pent up buyer rage, interest. I don't know what to call it, but we're seeing a lot of that just start to explode outwards, and there's tons and tons of buyers out there who are going to hit the market. The only bad issue about this is that inventory is still at record lows. So more and more buyers are going to be hitting that marketplace and looking for homes, and there's actually less homes out there. Even though buyers aren't afraid, and according to recent reports, about 50% of buyers aren't afraid of in-person real estate events. Essentially, what the real estate industry was telling its agents were, if you're going to go out there and show properties or list a house, use virtual staging, use social distancing rules and guidelines in order to help protect you. But apparently 56% of consumers aren't afraid of actually going to see a property, and a good majority of them use virtual staging and use the photos and the videos as kind of a first step. It isn't the end all be all of home purchasing, and a good majority of people do not feel comfortable purchasing a house without actually physically being there. So 56% of consumers want to go see the property for themselves. And there's ways you can handle this. For you real estate rock stars out there who are hustling and bustling and you're trying to show properties, be cautious. Have, practice the safety guidelines, wear a mask, use plain hand sanitizer, keep your distance from each other, and keep in mind that there are properties out there where they're not going to allow you in there because the current homeowner is still living there, so keep that in mind. So there are some limitations still, but for the vast majority of people, they're a-okay to go see some properties and have no issues whatsoever. So going back to the survey, about 85% of people, and this is in Florida, so this is a little different, but 85% of people I surveyed said that they don't plan on changing the current situation where they live. But up in New York City, New Yorkers, about 60% of New Yorkers say they want to move the hell out. So, and it makes sense. Like, a lot of them who can work from home don't see the advantage of living in the city if they can work from home. Why sit there and pay overpriced real estate prices for rent and mortgages when you can work from anywhere in the world, essentially? And so a lot of people are going to start thinking about what are their options when it comes to living outside of big cities that are expensive right now. This is really fantastic for a lot of millennials. And it's not even just millennials, because like here's the thing about millennials. We're now approaching 40. so we're not the youngest anymore. So you have Gen Zers who are the youngest out there, and a lot of them are going to start entering the market in the next few years, and they're going to be facing the same problems that millennials were facing. I mean, millennials are still facing this, but overpriced metropolitan areas where the home prices are skyrocketing, and you know, the only reason why they're moving there is, one, for the jobs, and then two, for the amenities. Well, a lot of these smaller cities are starting to pack themselves full of amenities, because a lot of people want to see these areas have some good stuff in them. There's a couple small cities around here in Florida, like Lakeland. I don't know if you guys been to Lakeland. It's down south. It's in between like Tampa and Orlando. It's like a mini Orlando. It has a lot of stuff in there that 10 years ago wasn't there. And it still has a small population. I think the average rent right now, like the average rent in Orlando is like $1,500 for it's probably a little higher now, but average rent is about $1,500 for a 3-bedroom. In Lakeland, it's about, I think it was like 800, like 800, 850 around there. So it's extremely inexpensive to live in Lakeland. And there's a bunch of other towns like this, and I'm pretty sure this is the case across the nation. So there's tons of people who are now sitting there saying, if I could work from home, why live in an expensive city? Essentially, this is called location arbitrage. Why would I want to sit there and spend 50% of my income? You know, typically the average in America is about a third of your income goes to housing. In higher cities, it could be up to 50%. Why sit there and spend 50% on my income when I can go out of here? So if you real estate rock stars out there and you're trying to hustle, keep in mind that you're going to have a lot of people who are going to be looking to move on out of the city area. And so far, like this week, I already had like 4 clients reach out to me and ask me about buying new construction in cities that were far, or locations I should say, that were far from major metropolitan areas. So be prepared to start driving long distance. You know, like the days of kind of just sticking around in your neighborhood, all stuff this, those are probably going to go away. You're going to see a lot of people start pushing outwards just to get those cheaper rents, to get those cheaper mortgages, to get away from the cities, especially those who don't have to, for whatever reason, have to work at their location, and they can work from home. All right, guys, that's going to be it for me. I am going to be hustling as much as I possibly can. In the next couple of days, I'm going to probably start branching into phone calling again and prospecting. One of the things that I kind of messed up, and this is truth talk right now, I try to automate a lot of the things I was doing. You know, like I read the 4-hour work week, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to do that. The only problem with the 4-hour work week is that you have to build the systems in place in order to achieve that. I didn't have any of those systems in place, and my business did take a dive even before the pandemic. So now I'm gonna start getting back into hardcore prospecting. And one of the things that I'm trying to get away from is like the shiny object syndrome, which is essentially relying on too much technology. And the reason why is, I don't know if you guys use a CRM system. If you don't use a CRM system, you should definitely look into one. But the CRM system that I've been using for like the last almost 5 years since I've been in real estate has been LionDesk. And this is a call out to LionDesk. I love LionDesk. They're fantastic. They're great. The only problem I have is that they're now moving to version 2, which is supposed to be like this slick, clean, minimalistic type style. But the only problem is that it isn't ready for prime time and has a lot of shortcomings in it. So I've been using version 1, but the only problem with version 1 is that they now moved it to a different server, and that server makes it run slow, and you can't load contacts up, and their customer service is for a lack of better words, let's say lacking. So with that said, relying too much on technology and going, I was trying to build a texting campaign, a marketing campaign to put like for sale by owners, to put expireds in there, to put pretty much every lead that you could think of and on different campaigns, of course. But the only problem is that relying on the technology and relying on these separate companies, CRM systems and their products that they use, it leaves you in a very vulnerable position. The last 2 days, I've been struggling hardcore just to get them to work, just to get it to function, to like understand what I'm doing. Like, I built out this cool campaign for Fizbos, and it is atrocious. Like, like the way it operates, the way it goes. And then for the last 2 months, I haven't been able to send out my physical mailers. And the reason why I haven't been able to send out my physical mailers is because version 1 of LineDesk, the contacts, it won't load, so I can't print out labels. And I know this is my fault. I should have kept a backup copy of the labels so I can print them out, so I can mail things out. But the problem is that like I constantly put new people into there, and so for the last 2 months I haven't been able to update that, which is part of my marketing strategy. It's part of my market plan. Like, I put these newsletters together. It takes time and effort, and LineDesk is not allowing me to essentially see. This is a texting campaign. Just got a text from a client. They're not interested. Anyways, so yeah, I haven't been able to send out my mailers just because I haven't been able to print out my labels. So that's a big issue. So frustrating. I don't know what you guys have been doing in order to keep your business going. I know prospecting is one of those things that real estate agents absolutely abhor. That's putting it mildly. When it comes to prospecting, it's one of those things that you must do, but you just for some reason can't. Like either it's a fear of rejection, which that's never been the case for me. Like, I don't care. You can reject me. You can yell at me. Like, this person just told me not interested. Oh, well. My problem is sitting on the phone for 3 hours. And I guess this is like when it comes to like circle prospecting, and it comes to, hitting up expireds and withdrawals. It's the 3 hours of time that you sit there in the morning and you're just going like, hi, this is Mike with Century 21. And then they hang up on you. And you're like, and then you just sit there as the phone dials. If you're using a dialer, if you're doing a hand dialing, it's probably more interesting that way. But it's a constant boredom. Like, I'm one of those guys who has to be like constantly like doing things, moving around, touching things, like my OCD. This is my little fidget stuff here. I play with my dice as I'm working and all stuff this. But it gets boring, and that's one of the biggest problems that I have. So. Anyways, I'm going to start getting back into it, relying more on the phone, giving people a call, going through the scripts, and I'm going to start recording that in the future. And if that's something you guys want to see, or more interested in seeing, not so much the news, but seeing more of the how to build your business, I think that's the direction I want to take the channel, is start helping out, basically real estate agents, investors, and landlords on how to build their business. So if you guys have any suggestions, or you want me to go over something or cover something, go ahead and leave it down in the comment section down below. If you guys want to follow me, all my social media stuff is going to be linked in the description or in the bio above. So you guys can stay up to date, see all the stuff that I'm doing. I also have a couple other channels that I do that are non-real estate specific. And I'll put the links in there as well. I have The Edge, which is like a scientific breakdown of, I know, like science, yeah. It's like me doing an investigative, but yet funny take on like certain things. Like I did 5G and COVID-19, are they deadly? Well, COVID-19, yes, but 5G, no. And I did one on conspiracy theories, and now I got another video coming out on cults. That's called, the series, or the channel is called The Edge. And like, once again, I'll put it down below. And then I have Rockstar Nerds, which is kind of like a sister companion show to this one, but essentially it's more pop culture, movies, games, entertainment. Has nothing to do with real estate whatsoever. So if you guys are more into that, that'll be in the links down below and above. So definitely check those out. But other than that, if you guys are, if you have any questions, you want me to cover something in the comment section below, please drop a message, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment. like this video, all that good stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next video.